Hello. Let's play with the border of sanity, shall we? If you think you have seen through self, and you think there's no longer any identification, there's no longer any I anywhere, and you have no hooks into anyone being anywhere, then this exercise is for you. Now I can predict your name, and I can predict where you live, and I can predict your birthday. So sit and concentrate yourself. Make yourself comfortable and relax. And I'm now telling you that your name is Riley Miller. Your name is Riley Miller. You probably have a resistance happening right now. Look into that resistance. Feel into it. Where was that felt in the body? Was it a contraction? We're very quick to saying that there's no I. But what we overlook is the part of the brain that identifies. And when you say your name out loud, that is shown on a brain, that can be shown on a brain scan. And the part of the brain that is lighting up is the part of the brain that is tied in with your identification. There's even been made experiments with children that was lightly sedated and where their name was said out loud. And even though they were not conscious, those areas that identify were lighting up in the brain. So that resistance you feel in the body when I say that your name is Riley Miller, it's part of that. It's the meat suit that is reacting. You're born Tuesday, the 9th of September, 1975. Your name is Riley Miller, and you're born Tuesday, the 9th of September, 1975. Feel into that. Can you sit here and relax into that? That is reality. Your name is Riley Miller. You were born Tuesday, the 9th of September, 1975. How does that feel? Now, if you have any type of resistance in the body, know that that is just the meat suit reacting. Notice where the contraction happens. Is it in the belly? Is it in your arms? How are your arms lying on your thighs right now? You feel a resistance in your mind, in your face? Are your thoughts circling around whether the 9th of September 1975 really was a Tuesday? All that is identification. All that is an I, an ego acting up. Can you let go of that? Breathe into being Riley Miller, born Tuesday the 9th of September 1975. Can you breathe into that? What is happening in your body? So there's something reacting. The meat suit is reacting. That's one thing. But a secondary reaction can be that appendix of thoughts that we have that is creating a little story, and that story needs to be true. It needs to correlate with our previous experiences in our lives. And if you have had any thoughts about that you cannot possibly be Riley Miller because you are you, and if you were someone else, then all of those trials and hurt and sufferings you've been through in your life, they would never be experienced, they would never be felt. If that happened, then go back to the 2nd Fetter. That is something you need to work deeper with regarding previous traumas. It's okay. It's good to realize. So can you sit and breathe into a world? You may close your eyes if you want to. And just breathe into your name is Riley Miller. You're born Tuesday, the 9th of September, 1975. How does that feel? What changed? What is different? If you're truly in the non-dual, there's only this moment. Awakening is about realizing there's only this moment. There's no attachment to anything. This moment can't be any different than it is, and it doesn't have to. There's nothing missing. There's nothing that needs to change. And if you're truly in that space, then there's no memory or attachment to any memories. The freedom happens when you're free from suffering. And when you have memories about the past, it's always helpful to ask yourself, where's the past right now? It's obviously in your mind. So if you don't think of the past, what happens to it? Can you play that game where you detach everything, even your name, your gender, your age, and there's no attachment to it. It's just this moment right now, where you're not even Riley Miller. If you had your eyes closed, open them again. Make a deep breath. And let's do another example. So you see what I have here? Do you see what that is? Look closer. Remember the last exercise where we questioned what it is we're seeing. And instead of recognizing, we look closer and really, really look. Hopefully you've been doing that for the last week. Now look at this and then say, that is a possum. This is a possum. And if you have an idea of, that is not a possum, that's a pen, how do you know? How do you know? That is a label we have given this thing. It makes it easier when we talk. But other than that, it's just a label. So can you look at that and say, that is a possum? What happens in your body when you do that? Do you feel resistance? Great. Do you find this silly? Amazing. This is a possum. Can you let go of anything? Of everything? Of even what this is? Be in a space where you absolutely do not know what it is. And you can look at it and go like, okay, that's a possum. There we go. I didn't know that. Clearly it's a black possum. Or is it? Close your eyes again. Sit and feel into how it feels in your body. That resistance that you feel to things having to be in a certain way, and the resistance to things not having to be in a certain way. Can you let go of that? It is convenient when we're out and about, and super convenient when we're driving and paying taxes. But if you open your eyes and look out the window and look at a tree. We've done this exercise before. Look at the tree. See if you can dissolve the boundary of the tree. Now that can only happen if you let go of the wants, the 4th fetter wants, where you want that to be a tree. And you want a tree to have certain shapes, colors, branches. A tree needs to look in a certain way. You need to let go of that. Can you allow a tree to look in whichever way a tree wants to be looked at? If you're starting to notice that the tree is slowly dissolving or changing, you might see that sitting and looking at the tree out the window, it suddenly looks a bit flat. Now, this might happen and it might not happen. Just let go of any assumption of what you think it is you're looking at. Now look at the space between the branches. So you don't look at the branches, you look at the space between the branches. Is there any difference in the space between the branches and the branches? How do you know? When you look at it, there's a darker coloration where the branch is. There's a lighter coloration where the branch isn't. How do you know there's a difference in the density? You only know that because you add memory. So let go of that. Do you see that the density is the same? It's the coloration that's different. Can you let go of any assumption you have about the tree and the branches? Can you allow things to be different than what you assumed them to be? Can you allow the branches to dissolve? Can you allow them to move in a way that you didn't know a branch could move? Dissolve everything without a memory of how a branch looks and a tree looks and how they move. You can completely dissolve everything. Keep looking at the tree. What is happening? Can you put yourself in a position where you're not looking from your eyes, but looking is happening? Experiencing is happening. If you are dissolving boundaries of the tree, the boundaries of your senses are dissolving as well. This is a great practice to play with synesthesia. That is where you're not only seeing, you can also smell, taste, hear what you're seeing. You're not only hearing, you can also see, smell, and taste. Feel what you're hearing. So your senses dissolve, the boundaries between them dissolve. And when you make an inhalation, inhalation is happening and you're no longer limited to what you're inhaling. You can be inhaling everything that you're sitting and looking at. You can exhale anything behind you. There are no boundaries anymore. What you perceive as reality is only perceived. And the more you look at it, the more it dissolves. And it's like that with everything. Do you see how the colors change? If you're not fixated on colors needing to be in a certain way, do you see how they change all the time when you let go of them and allow them to change? Do you see when you're looking out the window, everything is flat? It could be a painting. If you have any sense of you looking and you looking out, and I would like for you to imagine that you now are the tree that is looking back at you. So just like you are experiencing the tree is now experiencing you. Do you feel how everything dissolves? If you feel any kind of resistance, then know it's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. Remember, nothing needs to change and nothing needs to happen. This is an exercise that you can return to and do as many times as you want to. Practice, and every time you do it, something different will happen. Allow that. If you have any kind of fear arising by letting everything in this way, by dissolving your boundaries of what we deem as sanity, then work with the first lesson in the 6th Fetter where we talk about boundaries. They need to be intact. If you need to go back and working with anything about the toxic starting point, the way you view yourself and life, then work with that. But keep practicing this exercise where you're dissolving everything, where there's no longer any fixed rules to what anything is. So spend the next week dissolving everything you look at. If you take a bite of something, dissolve the taste, the smell. Practice your synesthesia. Can you feel a color? Can you taste a word? Can you smell a song? Dissolve all the boundaries that you have created for yourself and allow things to be alive and moving, ever changing. That's how they are. Thank you.